Okay, you guys can see that for now, I've done what I need to do. I'm gonna let the sun and the heat do its work for a little bit, and then I'll check on them later today. Right now it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. I'll check on them later. I'll cover them if necessary. I'll slide that baker's knife around the wooden form again if that seems like a good idea. And just monitor them. If I forget about them, then they get too dry and then I have to do the whole thing all over again and my time's been wasted. Hey, it's morning, day 2, so it's time to check out the pieces that I started yesterday. I'm monitoring them for moisture. I looked at them last night and I did not cover them overnight, so I'm gonna see if I regret that or not. All right, so here's the first one. Remember that sort of bricky one? So it's still damp on top, but it's definitely I'll be able to pull this frame off really soon. This one, ooh, yeah. Look how much that already shrunk in. So it's not wobbling yet, but I should be able to pull it off. Yep, see how it's shifting in there? I can pull the plaster off. This one, because it's so much thicker, plaster's okay loose on that one too, so I'll shortly pull that off. These guys, oh, I bet I left these uncovered too long. See, it's super hard on the top. These are gonna be more of a challenge, but we'll see. I'm gonna put some plastic on top, spritz them down and put some plastic on them right now, so maybe the tops will hydrate a little bit. And then my cone form, yeah, that one's pretty good, probably ready to take out shortly. See, it's still softish. You don't want it to get too hard because then hollowing out is just more work than it needs to be. So I have some favorite hollowing out tools. I have a collection of coconut shells, different shapes and different sizes that can really just get in the corners in just the right way. Then I have a few of these big loop tools for scraping in different shapes and sizes. And this thing, it's kind of like a big sculptor's thumb, I think. And I sand this edge down every once in a while so it's a little bit sharper. And I can get into some areas with that. And then, of course, a whole different kind of collection of these kinds of things. So I think I'm going to start on this one just by making a line so I can see where I want to go. You can see how mushy that is. Scoop. Scoop. Hey there. So now I'm working on carving out this piece, I hope. Let's check it out, okay? Oh, still super heavy, isn't it? Oh. Okay, so cushioning this little baby. You can see the outside firmish. Maybe I could leave a fingerprint if I wanted to, but remember I used that cone inside to help the hollowing out, so it's making my work here a little less. And then I will have to figure out how I want this piece ultimately to be. Will I put a bottom on it so it becomes like a covered vessel? Will I make a second one so I can attach into a more sculptural form? I haven't quite gotten there yet in my thought process. My two choices that I've narrowed down to are, however, putting on a bottom, adding some feet, turning this into some sort of covered container box, or making a second one so I had a sort of a zigzag sort of format. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to find some of my favorite hollowing tools and see how this goes in here. And then I'm going to start with this guy, and then we'll see how it goes. Much better. All right. Okay, so try to lop it sort of straight down here. Okay. Cut that off. Pretty edge, huh? Look at that pretty clay. All right, score. Let's spritz that a bit. Let's see if that same base that I had made will work. push a little clay into this hole here. Okay. All right, now pop that on. Try to line it up a little bit better. Oh, yeah, there we go, huh? Press it down. Kind of press it into the form too. Okay, now there should be air trapped in here, right? Like when we make a closed form, when there's air trapped in there, you know, you can alter the form more without worrying about it because the air will help support it. Now it's possible I've got a few little holes here, so before I go crazy on this thing, I'm going to try to throw some clay into some of these little areas where it might be a hole. You can see them here, right? See, like these little areas. Good. Pat that into place a little bit. Scrape. Scrape, 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 scrape. There we go. I like to do like little, the serrated edge, take off the high points and then come back with the smooth edge. Okay, smooth out this side too, where I added that little bit of clay. Okay, so now the question is, do we keep it round or do we try to like do something to it? I think we'll just keep this one round, keep it simple, right? Okay. Now, let's think about the lid. Do we want the lid way up here? Do we want the lid here? And it definitely has to have some sort of functionality to it, right? So I'm thinking I'm gonna just start with a slice. It's pretty, still kind of soft for that. I'm gonna leave it. You saw how much that clay gives. Too soft, just really too soft. I want a nice clean edge, and to get a clean edge, that clay has to be firmer, right? We all know about the stages of clay. Leather hard is where it's at, my friends. All right, seal that up a little bit. Anything else I want to do this while I'm waiting? Don't think so. All right, wait and see. Maybe I'll pop them back outside and take advantage of that 80-degree sunny weather, okay? All right, while you guys were gone, I worked on this one a little bit. This is the one that the bottom had fallen off outside, and so I decided to convert that into a lid form. So, you know, I mean, that edge. I could never have made such an interesting edge with that kind of variation intentionally. So I do appreciate letting nature have a certain amount of... I like the conversation with the material. I like the material pushes back a little bit or sends me messages and that I'm not completely in control. That's one of the reasons I like clay. You know, it's, I think I, like a lot of humans, am prone to hubris, and I like to be taken down a notch or two, and clay does that for me on a regular basis. Thank goodness. Otherwise, God knows how big my head would be. So I did some hollowing out of the inside already, right? And I hollowed out the inside of the lid with my favorite tools. And I found a couple other ones there. So I am going to let this sit happily. Uh-oh, I turned it so much I forget which direction it went. These are the kind of embarrassments that happen in live recorded video. There we go. So I'm just going to let that hang out a little bit. And while I still got you, I'm going to trim this bottom edge. And then maybe I'll use my shaving tool a little bit I just think this form on the outside is just not quite interesting enough. Although, you know, I have that solid one outside. So the solid one is the one I think that they'll really alter the form. This one, keep it simple. Maybe add some interesting feet. Maybe that's the way to go. And I certainly will be carving the outside when the clay gets to leather hard. Right now, it's just not leather hard enough, right? So, gotta wait for leather hard. And if I leave these uncovered overnight, well, it's pretty thick. They're about an inch thick, the walls, but I do believe by tomorrow evening anyway, when class happens, I'll be able to do some carving on these and it will feel like the kind of clay I like. So we'll see. I brought out some little shards of frost porcelain that maybe I'll push in here for just some, you know, interest. This stuff fires bright, bright, bright white, and I can imagine wanting something like that in my clay. We'll see. And I think that is it for now. I'm going to probably finish these, as I said, in class tomorrow. And let's hope that it turns out, okay? See you guys tomorrow.